Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I am Brighton Cott.
And good morning to all of you here and abroad.
Yes, definitely we need to acknowledge our diaspora.
Yes, and we have a large amount of them out there that watch us. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Did you?
Yes, I do.
Well, Brighton, just to kick things off for the morning, there's several things happening this week, particularly last night. We got the news that the 10% is back in the public servant's pocket.
Yeah, so July 1st it will be officially reinstated according to the minister. And when I thought about it, I said the first thing that came to my mind was sacrifice, and what the public servants had to do, teachers had to do in order to ensure that we stayed afloat, or economy stayed afloat. And I think it's also important to acknowledge that today is Public Service Day. And it's this actually Public Service Week.
Yeah.
But today they celebrate Public Service Day, and we want to also extend our appreciation to our public servants.
Of course.
Certainly they play a very vital role in ensuring that there is efficiency within our systems across ministries, across the various sectors, and we continue to also hold them accountable to ensure that we get better services as a country, as a society. One of the things that I was talking to some friends about last night, they said, you know what, we're getting back our 10%, but we're also having to go back to work from 8 to 5.
Yeah.
And I said, what would a reward have been if the time slot had not changed and it stayed the same, and the public servants were actually rewarded for their sacrifice?
So let me ask you this then, and I guess for our viewers at home, do you feel that we were more efficient in the working schedule that we had obtained during this pandemic?
That's a very interesting question, because I also look at it from the perspective of school. How many education systems across the world, a lot of the young people go to school from 8 until 12. And after that, because the functionality of the brain decreases as the day goes along, it's harder to get things done. So when I look at working from 8 to 5 versus working from 9 to 4, I'm not sure how much more efficient or how much more you could get done within that 2 hours span of time.
So, because I agree with you, because for me, when I begin my day, I'm functioning, right? So as I wake up, I am able to, not everybody's like that, but I'm able to move, and I am functional until at least 2 p.m., right? And then after that, it slowly starts to trickle, that fatigue starts to settle in, you don't want to do anything anymore. And then you're not as helpful, right? But one of the things that I've also come to realize in our country is that we always claim that our population is small, but we still don't have the amount of people working to be able to sustain a population. I always look at the teacher to student ratio. It's not sufficient. It's not efficient. It doesn't work. And it begs the question as to how much do we need to increase employment, and how can we afford to pay those people that are employed and in those various public sectors. And so we have to acknowledge that the work that they do, one person, and I know this because you and I have both worked in public service, one person does the job of 4. and it's not efficient. But then we don't have this sustainability to pay for people. So how do we move on from there? How do we move forward? How do we become more sustainable in the working environment?
And well, I had the opportunity to work in the public service environment. I was not a public servant, but I observed day in, day out just how public servants operate in our country. And certainly there are areas where we could be more efficient. I mean, when you're trying to get information, for example, access to information, sometimes you get tossed around in a circle before you could even get a document to be able to carry out your deliverables as a consultant. And so I see where there is need for capacity building across various sectors, and the importance of investing in the development and the continued professional development of our public servants.
Agree, and that kind of stems into what Prime Minister Bersenia had said at his speech in Brussels. I know you kind of want to take a snippet out of his speech.
Yes.
Brighton came prepared today.
So the Prime Minister addressed the European Union at the European Development Days in Europe's leading forum on international partnerships. And he stated that we are grappling with high inflation rates, unsustainable debt, increasing poverty, food and energy security, and climate change, among other major external factors hindering the development of our nations. He said, for example, in Belize, when his administration took office, the debt was at an alarming 133%. Unemployment stood at 30%, and the poverty rate was estimated at around 60%.
Wow.
So it goes back to what we were speaking about last week when we were in studio. Just all the different factors, external factors, as well as internal factors that's affecting our growth and development as a nation. And he alluded to those at that forum.
It makes you wonder, you and I come here, and Marlene comes on, and John and Paul, everybody comes here, and they sit on the couch, and we talk about all of these pending issues that we have in our country. And it always begs the question when we sit and have these discussions as to who is making decisions, how are these decisions being implemented, where are we seeing these results, how do they choose which issue to tackle first, and then how do they create those trickling effects? Right? I would love to sit and discuss more about those issues with maybe the PM would come in one day and talk to us about it. But for right now, those issues he highlighted, to me, they do create an alarming discussion point, because how do we tackle climate change if we can't tackle poverty? How do we tackle poverty if we can't tackle education? How do we tackle education if we can't tackle economic stability? How do we tackle all of that while also trying to shovel ourselves out of debt?
Right. I think you're speaking to the interconnectedness of all the major factors that's keeping us from actually progressing forward. And if you look locally, it begs the question, what are we doing here at home, locally, to ensure that we are not so dependent on the externalities to ensure that our progress moves forward?
I 100% agree, and I think that we are surrounded by so many developing countries, particularly the United States, where we see that that light for development. We want to get to a certain stage where we can be self-sufficient, self-sustainable, and so forth. But I also think that we want to get there so quickly that we're jumping through hoops, and we're not taking the minor details into consideration. And by the time we get to a point where the results aren't where we want, we have to go back and look at it again and say, oh, we missed this. But if we had just stopped and paid attention just for a few minutes, we would have been able to tackle those issues one by one. But nevertheless, I do think that we are getting better, especially now that we've been given back the 10% to our public servants, or they will be receiving that.
You know, with the 10% situation, I don't know what the outcome will be in terms of our economy and giving back the 10%. Because when we spoke to one of the economists from Galen University a couple months ago, he stated it might be too early because our economy is still in that process of recovery. And so giving back that 10%, while at the political level it looks good, at the economic level and maintaining sustainable balance, will it be beneficial to our country? And looking at it from that perspective, I think, and also acknowledging the fact that our economies across the world is being hit by inflation. And there is lack of security for food and energy, and there is lack of access to financing, for example, concessionary financing, to be able to grapple with the effects of storms, droughts, all these different climate change factors that's impacting us. So being able to not access those funds to develop our country forward is also something to consider as well. And
we also have to consider that the prices for things and necessities and resources will continue to increase. So it doesn't, yay for the 10%, but also everything else will continue to increase, and we have to get to a point where we can afford, right? Our high cost of living has exceeded more than the expectations of some, and that's another conversation for another day, because we have to get moving. We have to get moving, and we have to get into a motivator for today. And our motivation, our eye opener, is taken from dailyom.com. Goes like this: try not to take everything personally. Things that people say and do don't always have anything to do with you. Every time you interact with others, you have the choice to listen to, acknowledge, and let go their words. Or you can take what they're saying personally. Taking things personally is often the result of perceiving a person's actions or words as an affront or slight. In order to take something personally, you must read negative intent in an individual's words or actions. But what people do and say has no bearing upon you and is usually based on your own experiences, emotions, and perceptions. If you attempt to take what they do or say personally, you may end up feeling hurt without reason. When you recognize that what anyone says or does doesn't necessarily have anything to do with you, you will no longer feel hurt or attacked. While it's easy to take things personally, you should never let anyone's perceptions or actions affect how you see yourself or your worth. Your life is personal to you, and it is up to you to influence your own value and sense of well-being. Tell me, Brighton.
One of the things I think about immediately is you are affected by the things that you let affect you in terms of what people say. If you give way to that type of energy and allow it to affect you in a negative way, then it's going to happen that way. But if you are able to listen or hear what someone has to say, take what you can from them, learn from them, and the rest that might be the negative, I guess,
feeling,
the negative connotation towards what they're saying, if you allow that to consume you, then you certainly will feel bad. But you have to be able to navigate conversations, navigate sometimes unsolicited opinions, and understand it from a perspective of, people will always have opinions. Not necessarily everything that they say is true, and you need to learn how to move forward from those opinions.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because I was going to say, sometimes, when you have an opinion that doesn't necessarily agree with someone else, they tend to take it personally, or you tend to take it personally because they don't agree. And we kind of create this space where having healthy debates or having differences in opinion is wrong or negative, and then we are not able to create positive solutions because we want to be right. So we're not going to listen to what the other person says because we're taking their opinions personally to us, right? We're not trying to be logical about the situation. So, you know,
April, I experience this every day going to practice. If you know one thing about athletes love to trash talk. And the trash talking has been something that's been a part of our culture, athletic culture, for so many years, especially in competitive team sports. And you hear these athletes, and all you have to do sometimes is just
listen,
let it go through one ear, come through the other, and you move forward.
Well, let's listen to the opinion of the National Meteorological Service for our weather forecast for this morning. Good morning. Oh, good morning. I think I missed the call. Oh. We'll let them call us back. Yeah, we have our forecast for this morning, our general weather forecast from the National Meteorological Service of Belize. And we hope that we're going to get their call back. Yeah, okay, there they are. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Mr. Udon?
Yes, good morning. I'm doing good. Thank you.
All right. Tell us the general situation for today.
Okay, we're expecting mostly fair weather today, except if you live in the south, the Toledo district, and maybe the northern and southern Sun Creek. For today, we're forecasting sunny skies and somewhat hazy conditions, and partly cloudy tonight. Showers or thunderstorms will be isolated, except for a few more over the south this morning.
And their winds?
The winds easterly, east to northeast, at 5 to 15 knots, and the sea state slight to light chop.
Okay, and what about our temperatures?
Okay, high temperatures today will be 87 Fahrenheit along the coast, 93 inland, and 80 degrees up in the mountains. The lows for tonight, 77 along the coast, 72 inland, 66 up in the mountains.
Okay. And what about our outlook for Friday and Friday night?
Okay, for Friday and Friday night, continuing mainly fair with only isolated showers or isolated thunderstorms.
Okay. Any warnings?
At the moment, no, we don't have any warning or watches at the moment. And in the tropical weather outlook, tropical cyclone formation is not expected in the Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, or the Gulf of Mexico during the next 2 days.
All right, sounds good. Yeah. And there you have it. Thank you so much, Mr. Rodon, for that weather update for today.
You're welcome.
Have
a good day. Well, there we have it, April. So we should be expecting a
little bit of calm. He said except for the south.
Right.
But for those of you inland, and we are supposed to be a little cloudy, but sunny nonetheless. It's been hot. I don't know about Belize City, but it's been hot in Belmopan for the past couple of days. So
yeah, slight showers here and there. I think it was a bit damp this morning.
It was, here.
I mean, it's fairly just moist and calm.
All right. Well, we'll keep you more updated with the weather tonight and tomorrow. But we have to get into our show for today, and we have a jam-packed Thursday for you all this morning. Right. Our first conversation will be with the SIB and UNICEF, SIB and UNICEF, and they'll be here to talk about their multidimensional poverty index. The young people will be here your friends will be here, talk about their thoughts on poverty and how we are able to possibly create solutions because they impact the youth more than anybody else.
Right, absolutely. And then our second conversation for this morning will be with St. Martin's Credit Union, and they will be telling us about their latest online platform and services for members.
Nice. And we will wrap up our show with the annual Belize Archaeology Symposium. We'll have our friends from NITS joining us and talk to us all about the lineup for next week. Yeah.
I know you're excited for that one.
I always attend a BAS. Except for the past 2 years we didn't have any, but it's always a good educational conference where you get to learn about the research that's happening in our country. And you know me, I'm all about that. So of course we have to take our first break, and when we get back we will have our friends from the SIB and UNICEF talk to us about their multi-dimensional poverty.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority.
Fingerprint recognition is here. Social Security at your fingertips.
O land of the free by the carriage sea, our manhood we pledge to thy liberty.
Show your pride by respecting our national anthem whenever it's being played. We're blessed. We are free. We are proud. This is our Belize. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
To bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
And welcome back. We're moving into our first conversation for this morning, where we're joined by a representative from the Statistical Institute of Belize, and that is Ms. Diana Castillo-Trejo, who is the Acting Director General from the Statistical Institute of Belize. We're also joined by His Excellency Ishmael Nicholson, who is the Governor General from the Children's Parliament. And we will be moving into our conversation this morning to speak about young people's opinion about poverty and how it impacts them, as well as the multidimensional poverty index that will be certainly getting the information directly from young people via the SIB and UNICEF.
Love it. Good
morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning. Thank you.
Yes, good morning.
All right.
Just as a backdrop to our conversation this morning, across Latin America and the Caribbean, we see over 72 million children in particular from ages 0 to 14 being affected by poverty, whether that is being indigent or not having access to education, not having access to the basic food basket. Speak to us a bit, Director, about what the situation is like in Belize currently in terms of indigence and being classified as poor.
Okay. Well, as you know, last year the SIB published our most updated poverty estimates, and these were based on data from 2018. And this was a study strictly on monetary poverty. But what that study told us is that more than half, about 52% of our entire population lives in what we would consider to be poverty, meaning that these are persons who come from households who do not are not able to afford even the basic basket of goods and services that we consider, or that we developed as, you know, the basis for adequate living. Right. A smaller percentage, a subset of that, is what we considered indigent. And those persons are persons who are not even able to afford the basic food items. So we're not even considering non-food items, just food items. We have a percentage of the population who fall even below that. And what we found as well is that children and households with children were particularly vulnerable to falling into both poverty and indigence. And so, you know, this, the multidimensional poverty index project that we're working on now, which is a follow-up to that, is going to look at certain certain forms of deprivations that can be more specific to young persons and children.
One of the things I wanted to follow up with, because I know that the multidimensional poverty index will be based off what I would understand would be qualitative as well as quantitative analyses that's being done through research. Speak to us a bit about how the young people who are impacted day in, day out by poverty will be targeted and consulted to be able to hear their feedback on poverty and how it impacts them.
Okay, the MPI is it's a type of poverty estimation that is complementary to what we did for the 2018 data, meaning that in 2018, with the 2018 data, we focused strictly on income and consumption. And here we are looking at deprivation across a range of different areas and indicators that are considered basic rights or basic needs for satisfactory living for a household or for a person. It is a much more extensive process developing an MPI for a country. It involves a great deal of consultation. As you said, there is some amount of qualitative input that has to go into it. So we have been having consultations with various stakeholders where we talk about what is it that poverty means for Belize. What is it to experience poverty in this country? What are the dimensions that we want to look at? What are the indicators that we want to look at? And a part of these consultations include what we are kicking off here today, which is a consultation with young persons. Young persons experience poverty very often very differently from adults in the population. Young persons don't work, for example, so they don't have an income of their own. And so they can experience deprivation in ways that we as adults don't necessarily experience. So it's very important to us that we also take into account the inputs and the experiences and the feedback from young persons such as Mr. Nicholson.
I wanted to kind of get down to the nitty and gritty part of the research where it comes to how SIB and UNICEF are defining poverty and how you all are using the UN Sustainable Development Goals to conduct your research.
Okay, well, what we are being guided by is a methodology for doing multidimensional poverty indices that was developed by OFI, the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. We are doing this in partnership with a range of stakeholders, international partners. We are receiving technical guidance from OFI, which pioneered the methodology. And what it entails basically is determining a set of dimensions that will cover the various aspects of healthy living or adequate living or basic rights and needs that persons should have met. The global methodology, the standardized one, covers dimensions such as health, education, and living standards. We are looking at covering those and probably adding one or two additional dimensions. So right now we're looking at adding the dimension of economic activity, which would cover employment, income, things like that. And so where we are at right now in terms of consultation is to look at the possible data that can be used to formulate this MPI. So the data was collected last September as a part of our labor force survey. We have our regular questions in that survey, and we added a number of additional questions to cover things like health, which is not normally covered in that survey, to ensure that we at least cover the global dimensions in that survey. So we now are looking with our partners at that data to see what are the indicators of interest, what are the indicators that are relevant for us to put into this MPI. And what we will be doing with this, the MPI that we develop here is going to be our baseline. From here forward, this is the methodology. These are the indicators, the dimensions that we're going to be using for calculating poverty on a much more frequent basis. We are hoping to be able to do this every year. Every September, we'll collect the data. So what we agree on with our stakeholders here and with the guidance of our technical partners is the method that we're going to be using for calculating multidimensional poverty going forward, including using census data, because we have sufficient indicators in the census that we're collecting to be able to look at multidimensional poverty at very detailed levels in our country.
You said survey and questionnaire. Would you be able to share with us at this time what these questions look like and what type of results you're hoping to obtain?
Okay, off the top of my head, our labor force questionnaire includes a number of questions that pertain to living standards. For example, what the roof of your dwelling is made of, what the walls of your dwelling are made of. These things speak to the quality of housing that persons have access to. We also ask about education, persons who are in school or educational attainment of other persons in the household. So we are covering that dimension as well. And then we have added some questions on health, for example, rather simple questions, but just trying to get a feel of whether households are able to access health services when they need it. So, for example, the last time you or someone in your household was ill, were you able to access health services, or were you able to access a clinic or something like that? So those are the types of questions that we ask, and we try to ensure that our questions speak to all these different dimensions. So rather than where previously we were just looking at income and using that as a gauge for poverty, we are looking at, regardless of income, where households might be deprived across these different areas. And we can expect that in different parts of the country, deprivation is going to look very different. In the South, persons might fall within what we deem to be deprived based on our cutoff points. In one area, but not in another. In Belize City, deprivation would look very different than in another part of the country, most likely. So we are expecting to see variations regionally, and we're expecting to get a much clearer idea of what poverty looks like in terms of households and persons' inability to have their basic needs met.
You said something very important that I want to come back to, but I want to also bring Ishmael into the conversation. Ishmael, speak to us and tell us about the importance of the voice of young people on developing this multidimensional poverty index.
Yes, youths, they are important within this because their voices, they are the only one who can express what they're going through, what their point of views are in this area. A unique point of view that adults technically can only assume, but cannot bring forward.
Can you talk to us about what the youths in the country? You are the Governor General of the Children's Parliament. Talk to us about what the debates sound like or look like when you are in Parliament, and what is it that the young people are trying to promote when it comes to issues and solutions.
Well, within the Parliament, from my perspective, the youths, they're trying to tackle poverty, crime, and they're bringing up discussions that, to me, is very, 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 very amazing to look at from an adult point of view. Would say when you see these youths doing their research, you know, using the data from report and from other data agencies, and so to bring across their point of view and to show you that and to show the country when they present these views that, you know what, hey, this is what we believe needs to be tackled. These are our solutions, because they don't only bring up the problems, they also bring solutions with these problems. But within the Parliament itself, the youths, they are concentrating on violence, poverty, and things that we tend to put a blind eye to.
So when it comes to poverty and crime, how do you all speak about the impact on youth development?
We speak. Well, of course, we did had a delegation who attended the stakeholders, the consultation, and where we had an opportunity to voice our concern, to do our research, to bring point of views from across the country, where we were split up into different groups within the consultation, which I had the opportunity to join the policy and planning, where we came up with ideas, and within policy and planning, we came up that, you know what, the establishment of a policy committee, which needs to compose of members from various sectors and ministerial areas, which can yield firm policy commitments, and so on. And the other members went into from policy and planning to delegation with other stakeholders.
I want to follow up on a question. Well, get back to the point that I was holding for quite some time just now. Speak to us, Director, about the similarities that we could draw from the statistics in terms of those who are affected by poverty, according to the research and study that's been published in 2018. Speak to us about the similarities that we could see between Latin America and the Caribbean in terms of peri-urban, indigenous, and Afro-descendants being the most affected. What does that look like here in Belize?
Okay, well, based on the 2018 data, which again, I have to emphasize, this is based on strictly on an income level and consumption level data. It doesn't speak to all of these dimensions, but there was some amount of similarity, and I think across our region you will find, for example, that young people are particularly vulnerable to poverty. However you measure it, young persons are particularly vulnerable. Here in Belize, we had about almost 2/3 of young persons, although only a half of the general population fell within poverty or fell below the poverty line. About almost 2/3 of young persons, children below 18, fell within that poverty line. It tells us that households with children are particularly vulnerable, and children themselves are particularly vulnerable. We also, based on the measure that was used, found, yes, that indigenous populations, particularly those down south, were also more vulnerable to that measure of poverty, to falling below the poverty line measure of poverty. So, we have seen those types of similarities, and we can expect that there will be some amount of similarity coming out of this study, even though we are looking at different indicators, different dimensions. Income levels you have a direct correlation to households' ability to provide themselves with certain basic needs, with certain basic living standards. So there will most likely, and I can't say without the results having been analyzed as yet, but we can expect that there will be some amount of overlap and some amount of similarity when we look at these results as well.
So you have this projective, you have this index that you are hoping to continuously create throughout the years. You don't have a particular timeline. What happens when you gather this data, and where does it go, and who creates the solutions for these types of problems from your results?
Okay, so the role of the SIB is to make sure that the data is collected, and we do these estimations, and that the estimates are of the highest quality possible. So what we will be providing to our stakeholders, and our biggest stakeholder, our biggest data user, is the government of Belize, and what we will be providing to them is the best set of poverty estimates that we can derive from the data that we have collected. Yes, the intention is to do the MPI annually. This first one, the timeline is a bit extended because it is our first, it's basically our, not our pilot, but it's our baseline. We're establishing the methodology, we're agreeing on the indicators, we're settling on what the cutoff point will be to establish deprivation for each indicator. So this process takes a bit of time, and best practice is to do consultation with the data users and the other stakeholders. But the timeline is going to be, or the intention is to collect this data every September in our September labor force survey. And within a couple of months, we should have, because we will have already established the methodology and the formulas, within a couple of months every year. So by the end of every year, we should have updated MPI estimates. What happens with the data after that? We circulate it as widely as possible to our data users, to the government, to our social partners. And from that point, they are the ones who will be charged with taking up that information and using that to develop the types of interventions that will target the deprivations that we are seeing in the data that we're collecting.
I want to dial the conversation down a bit and speak to the involvement of the young people who are impacted day in, day out. Because it's easy to carry out research and not necessarily target those who are severely affected. Speak to us about the mechanism. Well, you did allude to the questionnaire, but speak to us about how you're going about to target those who are impacted on a daily basis to ensure that the qualitative data that you're receiving is reflective of the reality of the people who go through the harshest living conditions we could possibly think about.
Okay, well, one form that this is taking is, as I said, what we're starting here today, the consultation with young persons. This part of the process is being led or is being facilitated by UNICEF as one of our key partners in this round of the MPI study. UNICEF provided the funding actually for the collection of the data, the additional data in September to do this study, and they are leading or facilitating the process of consulting with young persons. So we will be having a series of engagements with young persons. There will be a U-Report poll where we will start, we have a few questions that will target young persons' knowledge and experience of poverty. And this will lead up to in-person consultation event with young persons, various representatives of the youth community, to talk about these things specifically, to talk about what poverty means to them, what their experience is of poverty. And we are doing, or we are also carrying out this process with various other stakeholders. So we have also established a project steering committee for the MPI. We have about 20 members on that steering committee, and they represent a cross-section of stakeholders within sectors that are directly working with issues related to poverty. So we have government ministries, we have international partners, we have social partners, we have the universities in their capacity as researchers. And so we are getting the inputs and the feedback of a range of stakeholders, including young persons. And what that will be used for is to feed into what the final model or the final calculation will be. We have to, of course, be guided by an established methodology, because this has to be sound methodologically. But the MPI methodology, as it was designed by OFI, allows for a lot of flexibility at the national level, meaning that they recognize that poverty looks different to different countries, to different subgroups within your country. And so it allows for flexibility in terms of the selection of the indicators that you can include in there that will be reflective of the situation or the types of deprivation or what deprivation means here in our country. So that is the purpose. This is the reason why we are not just taking a methodology and you taking the data and calculating something. We are taking the time, and this is a months-long process to actually consult with the users of the data, with persons such as young people who have their own experiences as it relates to poverty. And we're using all of that to inform the final mathematical model that's going to be used to estimate poverty using the MPI methodology.
I would hope that the interview process, the consultation process, goes beyond the U-Report platform, simply because if we speak about poverty and we are tackling particularly or trying to target a particular community, I think it's important to understand that some of these individuals may not have access to internet, may not have access to devices to be able to use the U-Report platform. But certainly we look forward to what comes out of the approach that's being taken by UNICEF and in collaboration with SIB and the other stakeholders. But Ishmael, I want to also bring you back into the conversation and hear your perspective about what you hope would come from this particular multidimensional poverty index.
Well, what I'm hoping for is to get a closer look at actually what is happening on the ground. What are children going through? Because we know that the data, the evidence will guide the decision-making process, and which will help secure funding for target interventions, and that the policies will address the direct needs for children. So what we want, what I am expecting is to get a real feel of what is happening in every single era within this country. And so, those who are always left out, that we can get them within, because all children should be included in this data collection process.
Right. Director, you said that you would be doing these consultations and these conferences for a month, I believe you said. How are you planning to tackle each cohort? How are you going to address each community? How long are you planning to make that process go for? For me, when you say a month, that's a little bit of time. So break down for me how that month would look like.
Okay, the process is actually several months long, and we started the process of consultation from last October.
Okay.
We started the discussion with our various social partners who work in the social sector, who work on developing programs to tackle poverty or to address poverty issues. So we have been having that discussion with those partners since last October. Last month, we established a formal steering committee. And again, as I said, the steering committee is made up of about 20 representatives across various sectors. And so we are, in large part, we are going to depend on these representatives based on their own contacts, their own people that they work with, their own experiences in the field to sort of inform the MPI as we go along. The process, the work on developing this is going to continue up until the end of July. At the end of July, we expect to have an MPI model that we will be using, and then we'll proceed to start processing the data, coming up with the estimates, and by the end of September, we will be publishing the first set of MPI data. It would be ideal to be able to hold much longer consultations with larger groups and, in-person forums and things like that. However, we have to work with the resources that we have, and so we are considering our steering committee, given their experience in the field, given the work that they do, and the contact that they have with persons who are actually victims of poverty, to inform the process as much as possible. And we're very grateful to UNICEF to have facilitated this particular round of the consultation, because I think that consulting with young persons, the way that we go about doing that has to be different than the way that we go about consulting with a steering committee. Right. And so UNICEF is taking the lead in developing how this forum is going to be so that we get the most out of it, so that our young people who are represented there can have their voice heard, that their inputs can be obtained and put into the process just the same way that those of the rest of the steering committee are.
Right. I also would imagine that you would have folks like translators and people that would be able to communicate if there's any language barrier problems, no? I would really like to get back to the conversation of the core of the conversation. Sorry, when it comes to you hit the nail right on the head when you said poverty means something different for different people in different communities, and you also stated that some of the questionnaires would involve like infrastructure and how you'd be able to connect those with income. What would you say then to a person that is happily living in their state of, I have food, I have shelter, I have water, I have a roof over my head that is cooler than a cement house? How would you go about maneuvering that conversation of poverty, access to things, and access to items such as, like iPads and so forth? How would you be able to say to them, okay, well, you're on a certain line then?
Okay, this again is where the consultation process is very important. We could go by indicators and cutoffs that are used in other countries, but we want this to be specific to Belize. Right. So here's where the consultation and the inputs and the knowledge of the steering committee and the young persons is going to be very important. We get to decide what constitutes deprivation with respect to any one of these indicators. I mean, it has to be based on sound justification, obviously, but we do get to decide what we are going to put in our MPI to a certain extent.
On that note,
that's one.
Sorry to cut you off, but on that note, could you share with us what the definition of poverty is that will be utilized for the process of consultation?
Well, we started out the consultation discussing with the stakeholders what they consider poverty to be, what is their definition of poverty, and the consensus that we were able to come up with is that poverty is basically an inability to meet certain basic needs, and these needs are based for the most part on things that we consider to be basic human rights, shelter, food, healthcare, things that are basic rights that persons, regardless of where in our country they live, they should be able to access in order to have a certain satisfactory standard of living or a certain satisfactory type of life. So we are leaning towards, a very rights-based type of definition when we look at the indicators that we will include. But this is what our stakeholders as a group so far have felt that poverty is. It is the inability to meet these basic needs, to access basic services, basically to access certain basic rights that all persons in the country should access. So we're kind of starting from that starting point, and then from there we'll refine our definition. So what is it that we consider to be deprivation when it comes to education? Is it that we want that adults in the household have completed at least up to the end of primary school, or do we want to say adults have completed at least up to secondary school? These things are up for discussion with the stakeholders, and we get to determine what deprivation is or is not in our country. Another thing is that the beauty of a measure like the MPI is that it's not based on just a single indicator, the way a poverty line estimate is. We use one measure for the poverty line, whether your household can consume or is able to afford a certain basic set of goods and services, and it doesn't take into consideration other types of deprivation. With the MPI, because we're looking at indicators across dimensions and we're looking at deprivation from different perspectives, someone who might not meet the cutoff point under one indicator might very well be above the cutoff points in other indicators. And so the MPI is sort of a composite of all of these indicators. And so based on all of these together, then we'll determine whether or not a household falls within the range that we would consider to be deprived overall. Or we can look at whether households are deprived in specific dimensions as opposed to being deprived overall. So the beauty of this measure is that it allows you to look much more deeper. It allows you to customize or to nationalize what it is that poverty measurement is in your country. And this is why it's so important that we get it right this first time, that we consult with the stakeholders and that we get the model and the methodology correct this first time.
All right.
Well, we have swiftly run out of time. This is a conversation that we certainly could have prolonged and continued to engage with. But we want to thank you, Acting Director General, Ms. Trejo, as well as Mr. Ishmael Nicholson, for joining us this morning to speak on the development of the Multidimensional Poverty Index. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we are going to take our next break. And when we get back, we'll be talking to St. Martin's Credit Union. So stick around.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Full-Tech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Wake up! Wake up! Now which cheese you think you may eat all the while? Gallo cheese with the blue rooster on the label is the traditional and the real deal. The original Dutch, redback or hard cheese in Belize. Be aware! Check your label and make sure it is in English and for the Belize market. Gallo cheese with the blue rooster. The real deal. Santiago Castillo Limited, supporting and building our Belizean community for 95 years and counting.
Gaia Edam Dutch cheese, aged and tropicalized, the best formula for the Belize market, exclusively distributed by Santiago Castillo Limited.
Digi, the premier name in voice and data, is also the country's leading provider of innovative services and solutions for small business and enterprise. At Digi Business, we offer solutions, tools, and applications to support your business needs. Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and excel in a changing world where no idea is too big and no task is too small. From technology advising to design implementation and management, our team of qualified solution sales and specialists can develop a reliable and robust infrastructure, allowing you to spend more time on what matters most, your business. Visit us online to explore how DigiBusiness innovative products and solutions can help your business reduce costs and improve efficiency.
And Messi is standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
To bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
Wow. Oh my God, she drunk. No hurry, I got this. Goodness. Oh my gosh, it's the artist.
Being the hardest. The artist. But you had way more than 2 drinks tonight, love, which is a legal limit to drive. What about you? Can you drive?
Well, I was drinking soft drink all night, so I can drive her home. Thanks, Bree. Of course, Tricia. You know I got you. You're my girl.
That's what I like to see. Friends don't let friends drive drunk, cause you can't replay in a real life. Stig says so. Can't replay in a real life.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Brianna, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
That's great, honey. You have to study hard then and get good grades.
Yes, Mommy, I will. Mommy, why do the neighbors have to play the music so loud?
Every day, people are affected by noise. Noise, like loud music, is not a concern for those making the noise because they are not the ones being affected. It is usually the vulnerable that is impacted the most by noise pollution, such as the sick, the elderly, and the young. That is why the Department of the Environment is asking you to be considerate of your neighbors. Be mindful that your actions can have lasting effects, and know that noise pollution is an offense under the pollution regulation. With our friends from our second segment. On Zoom, we have our friends from St. Martin's Credit Union. We have Raymond Soul, who is the General Manager at St. Martin's Credit Union, Karina Tessekom, the Rural Finance and Business Development Officer, and Camille Kal, the Acting Senior Operations Officer. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. So for our viewers at home who don't know, what is St. Martin's Credit Union? Where are you located? And how long have you been running your business?
Well, we are located in San Ignacio, and we also have a branch in the Benque Viejo town. We have been operational since 1949, and Benque has been operational since 2018. So on a whole, the St. Martin's Credit Union has been here for over 70 years. We have over 10,000 members, active members, and we are here today to promote our newest product to our membership, our online banking.
All right. So speak to us about your the online banking and how can we have access?
Okay, so the online banking is, as I mentioned, our newest product. We do have a very young membership, and with young membership, that means that they want fast access, they want easy access, they're always on their phone, we're always on our phone as well. So we do basically everything on our phone, and it's a product that our members have been asking for a while. It took a little time to ensure that the data and the security and all of those hackings and stuff that are commonplace now, we had to be sure that would not happen to our members. So now it's fully live. We launched it the 10th of June, which basically means you can pay your utility bills, you can make transfers, you can pay another member, you can transfer to another bank or another credit union, all on your phone through easy access. So you just need to sign up, and we will give you other steps to follow through your email.
Tell us a bit about what are some of the products and services offered by the St. Martin's Credit Union.
Well, the St. Martin's Credit Union is a financial cooperative. So we do offer loans, we offer savings, we do pay dividends annually to our membership. We have what we call a funeral benefit plan, which is another benefit of being a member to the credit union, because once upon your death, then your beneficiary would receive up to $4,000, which is very helpful during those times. Along with other products, of course, we have all the loans, we have the savings, our deposits, we offer payroll. We have some very big businesses that process their payrolls through us. We have the ATM cards, which also work as a debit card as well to all major stores that have the POS system.
All right. Can you talk to us about the transactions? Tell us more about your bank-to-bank transfers, credit union to credit union. If I am St. Martin's Credit Union member, can I transfer to somebody who is from Belize Bank? Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Definitely. We have our online transfer. It normally takes a day for it to go through. Of course, we have to work along with the close off time of the banks. But you can definitely come in, you give us the person's information, you give us their banking information, their bank account number, and we process it. And for a small fee, it goes through the same day. You don't have to wait in line. You just come in. And of course, this is another product or another service that we offer through the online banking. So again, if you want to transfer from your St. Martin's Credit Union to another bank or another credit union, you don't necessarily need to come in anymore. You can sign up for your online banking and you have that access to you through your phone at the convenience of your hands.
What are some of the requirements to begin engaging in the online banking platform?
Well, you do need to be a member. That's the first step. And if you are a member, you can just come in, sign up for the online banking, and we'll send you an email and you'll have access to it. If you're not a member, then you can also send us an email or a message through the online platform, and we will call you and get your information and have you become a member. Now, to become a member, you do need to provide your social security card or passport, a recent utility bill, and the minimum to sign up with is $55.
I want to bring the general manager in the conversation to speak a bit about membership and how the growth has been throughout the pandemic as well as former years. What has that looked like?
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for having us here. Well, our credit union, like all financial institutions, experience all of the effects of COVID. And so one of the things that we had to do at the onset of COVID was to look at how services were being provided. And because of the staying of home and all of the restrictions, we basically we were forced really to migrate to online platforms and finding ways on how we could do things remotely without bringing the service to our members. And so over the COVID period, the last 2 years, we were very limited in terms of our being able to recruit members and stuff because we're not allowed to go out into the field, etc. And so we've had to lean a lot more on online technology, on social media ads, on finding ways on how to reach to our members, how to engage to them. And so we've used Facebook a lot. So if you look at our Facebook feed, our Facebook page, there's a lot of interaction and activities that we do with our members to promote and market the credit union. And so that has been one of the key tools that we've used during the course of the past 2 years. Our membership is a little over 10,200 members, but what we do want to note is that a majority of those members are active members, so they're actively engaging, they're actively saving, they're actively paying off their loans, etc. In terms of the financial impact of COVID, well, we've been able to sustain the impact very well. And I think one of the key reasons how that was able to be done was because of our savings component that we have along with all of our loan products. So whenever you get a loan, it is mandatory for you to save at least a minimum amount. And so what we found out is that when COVID hit, everybody, almost all of our members, everyone who had a loan, had some savings in their account. And so those savings then were able to help them to get through COVID. And so we were able to manage the financial impact of COVID very well as a result of that. And so our delinquency is really, really low. Yes, we had to provide forbearance measures to our members, which we did, and we had different methods of forbearance that we provided. But I think overall, the membership really, really were able to survive the effects of COVID, and now we're working with them in terms of being able to bring back their account into good standing.
We've noticed that your credit union is located mostly in Cayo West and in the San Ignacio and Benque area. Are there any plans to move branches outside of Cayo?
Not at this point. I think one of the other locations we're looking at is in terms of the Spanish Lookout area and the Belmopan area. Those are two areas that we are intent on looking in terms of the market, because we do have a very, prior to COVID, we had a very robust rural finance program, which Karina heads at this point in time. And so we do have, we do carry financial services in the villages surrounding San Ignacio, in Spanish Lookout area and other villages. And so we want to capitalize on that in terms of taking services to those members. So during COVID, we were not able to do a lot of the field work, but now we are re-engaging and we're setting up ways in how we can bring back that service to our members. And so we are looking at Spanish Lookout area, and we're looking at Belmopan area as well as possible locations. We do have a branch in Benque Viejo, and that branch has been very successful. And of course, our main office in San Ignacio.
Speak to us a bit about the membership in terms of their ability to access financing who are from rural communities. I'd specifically like to address that to Karina. Speak to us about the access to financing.
Okay, well, right now, and because of COVID, we haven't been out actively. However, we try to maintain close communication with our members, right? So whenever they need assistance to anything, they send us a message on our WhatsApp or they reach us through Facebook. And if they need appointments, if they need loan appointments or updating their account, right now, everything we were doing it online. So if you apply for a loan, your appointment will be via phone call, so you don't have to come into the office, and that helps our members, especially in the farther villages. They don't have to travel all the way here, and then we don't have to have our office with a lot of people at the same time. So that also has been helping us. We recently started updating all the accounts in person here at the office, so you can just come in now and update your account. You don't have to book an appointment. And we're hoping right now with the online banking, we're hoping to get as much members, especially in the outer community areas, to sign up, because this will be especially beneficial to them. They don't have to keep on calling us, or they don't have to come all the way to town to get our services, because through the online banking, we have a lot of services that we're offering. You can check your shares, you can check your debits, you can check your loan balance, you can even apply for loans, you can do a loan projection, you can see how much you can borrow, you can check what the terms would be and how long you would be paying for your loan right on the online banking. So I feel like, especially right now with this new service, this will really help our members.
So Camille, I'm a citizen of Belize and I want to start saving. Sell it to me that I should become a member of the St. Martin's Credit Union, and tell me what are some of the benefits that I could experience as a member.
Okay, well, by becoming a member of St. Martin's Credit Union, as I mentioned before, we've been here for over 70 years. So that means we have longevity, we are financially stable, we know what we're doing. And some of the benefits are we pay dividends on an annual basis. We have our funeral benefit plan. Your shares are insured. Your loan is protected up to 40,000. We have very low service fees. We have flexible repayments, and we also provide an add-on loan, which means that compared to other financial services where you have to pay off, once you've borrowed a loan, you have to pay it off before you borrow another one, or they might give you 2 separate loan payments. We allow you to add on the existing loan that you have. So you're not going to have 2 loan payments, you'll have 1 low repayment that you can afford. We're very flexible in repayments. So we will not give you something that you cannot handle. We will not give you a repayment that would have you living budget to budget. We will definitely help you. We are your financial advisors, and we will help you to achieve your dreams as we go along.
All right, so I think Brighton is sold. Yeah, you didn't move.
Are you going to be a member?
But I think what he was trying to ask is, can he be a member even though he lives in Belize City?
Oh, sorry. Yes, definitely he can.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Well, we want to thank all of you for coming. We've officially run out of time. Thank you all for coming in to talk to us about the St. Martin's Credit Union. Is there any last words that any of you would like to tell our viewers?
Well, we would like to encourage our members right now who are active members to sign up for the online banking. This is a service that we've been waiting for a while to give out to our members, especially, and we encourage you to sign up and actively use the online banking platform. And those who aren't members, it's easy to become a member. You can just send us a message on Facebook or a WhatsApp number, and we will help you to open your account with us.
If I may add as well, I want to join Karina in encouraging our members to sign up for this service. This will provide their banking online at their own convenience. I also want to encourage those who are not credit union members to join the credit union. I would love for you to join St. Martin's, but if you can't, I will definitely also encourage you to join any credit union that is within your vicinity, because credit union is a financial cooperative. It is basically us pooling our funds together and to help each other to grow. And so I do want to encourage anyone who is not a credit union member to do so. We the overall membership is very significant. We are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, over 130,000 people in Belize are actually credit union members. And so I do want to encourage folks to join a credit union, to sign up for online banking. Look forward to the promotions that we have. We can easily be contacted online through our Facebook Messenger. We have WhatsApp, we have email, and we're very easily accessible online. So please don't be afraid if you have questions and stuff that you may want to clarify. We are available online. Contact us over those channels, and we look forward to serving you further for many more years. Right? Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming in this morning and speaking to us about the services being offered at the St. Martin's Credit Union. We now move on to another break, and when we are coming back, we'll be joined by what I think April is looking forward to having a conversation about, the Archaeology Symposium that's being held this year. So stay with us.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
I'm on my way to Belize, where I can get what I need and save some money. After 75 years in the business, nobody do it like Belize. Hello, how may I help you? Anything you need, we got you. Whether it tools or tiles, lights and fans, we are serving with a smile. Genuine plumbing and electric supply, quality construction supply, heating and air condition, 100% Belizean. Belize, hey, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, quality and savings. Belize, hey, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings, hey, quality and savings. Belize, celebrating 75 years. Quality and savings. Quality and savings.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
To bring the energy and entertainment back to Tuesday nights. It's time for the return of KTV The Remix. We're looking for new talent for this year's competition. Auditions will be held at Channel 5 Studios in Belize City on June 25th and 26th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You must be 16 years or older. Bring your best voice and come TV ready.
are back and we're heading into our third conversation for this morning, where we're joined by members from the Institute of Archaeology. We have the interim director, Dr. Melissa Badillo, as well as archaeologist Josue Ramos, to speak to us about the annual Belize Archaeology Symposium. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us this morning. I know, April, you're excited for this conversation.
I'm excited for the symposium,
yes.
But for our viewers that might not know, can you talk to us a little bit about the history of the symposium and how long it's been going and what actually entails in it?
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for having us today. The symposium really came about as an end result of some of the research that people do here in country. People may not be aware, but we have about 27 projects that operate and do archaeology research in Belize all across the country. And one of our contributions to the society, to the public, is to bring that information to a location where they can gather and learn about all the different research that takes place in the country. So it started, I think, 2003 that we had the first one, and now we're here celebrating next week the 18th anniversary of the symposium. So it's been going quite a while. We missed the last 2 years due to the pandemic, so everyone is quite excited to be back in country and back celebrating our all our research in archaeology.
So
what has you alluded to the excitement, so speak to us about what that rush has been for our researchers to get in their papers and being able to get access to the platform to present their papers.
The planning for the symposium starts like very early on. So in January we sent out the call for papers, and by March we had close to 50 submissions for 34 spaces. So we had to do some adjustments with our schedule, and we actually we're able to come up with 4 additional spaces. So next week we will have, over the 3 days from Wednesday to Friday, we will have a total of 38 presentations. Researchers presenting from all over the country. People, I think, are familiar with the archaeological sites that are open for visitation, which is limited to only 14 sites. But we have people who work in Corozal at Aventura. We have people in Stand Creek at Alabama. We have down south Toledo at Paynes Creek. And people might not be aware of these archaeological sites, but if you come to the symposium, this is the best place because everybody is all together and you get to learn about all the new research that they're doing, the new types of analysis, incorporating the lab work, field work.
And incorporating new technology. So, for example, we have early, like 2009, 2013 is when Belize started to use LiDAR technology. And over the years, Belize archaeology has progressed in incorporating LiDAR. We have new data coming up, and we also have new applications in the use of LiDAR. In the Belize area, we have a combination of technologies to have the application or use of LiDAR at a much reduced cost, a lower cost. So that's interesting, and that's something for those who love GIS, who love things with mapping. They should come and listen to the papers at the symposium.
So that was going to be my next question. When it comes to listening to this research and listening to the archaeologist that has done extensive work in Belize, who can attend? And what type of information will be provided?
Well, it's open to the general public.
Okay.
There is a small fee for Belizean is $10 non-resident is 20. But for Belizean students, it's free once you present your student ID. So it's open, and we encourage Belizean students, Belizean schools.
And that's also if you're a student abroad and locally?
No, for Belizean students in general, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right. But it's a lot of tour guides come up every year to update themselves, so when they do their presentation to their guests, they're up to date with the information. Yes.
I can imagine that a symposium of this magnitude will certainly spark an interest in the international community, archaeology community in particular. What has the attendance been like in terms of international participants?
We usually have quite a bit of students. This year, probably a little less due to the restrictions with travel and all that as a fallout from the pandemic. But on occasions, previous symposiums, we've had up to maybe like 200 participants attending each day at the symposium. So we expect somewhere close to that. We're hoping that this year more Belizeans will come out. There is limited seating this year because we have the social distancing in place. But with registration and all that online, we hope that people will still come out and take up the space.
So for registration, you said online registration. Where can we find that? Is it still available to register online?
It's still registered. You just go to Belize Archaeology Symposium. That's the website, and you can see the little application QR code where you scan. You see the brief synopsis of the different presentations. And the reason to register online is that way you are securing your space. As we mentioned, the seating capacity is limited this year due to the pandemic regulations.
Okay, so it's not like the years before where we couldn't go in and just...
we still open
have
at 7:30. You come in, you'll have the front desk there to do registration. But you have an additional opportunity to do it online beforehand. That way you're sure that you...
eliminate the lines and the crowd.
I remember how...
And you also can find it on our Facebook page, the Institute of Archaeology
all the links
Facebook
are on
page.
our Facebook page.
I know April and I, we've attended symposiums before and as anthropology majors, and well, April in archaeology as well. Speak to us about what's one of the research that's really and truly captivating the attention of, I'd say, the populace, or sparking that interest to have people want to attend. What's that one research that people are looking forward to hear about?
It's very hard to highlight one. We must say, and you guys as being anthropology students would know that and I've taken archaeology courses before. It's the same thing when people ask us the question, what is the most important structure? So for us in archaeology, no matter the size and location, it's very important. And the same thing goes for this presentation. There are a variety of different topics. We have archaic papers, looking at the excavation being done in the Bleeding, looking at rock shelter. So if you're interested in that type, these are papers you don't want to miss. So you have dates now going to 10,000 BC. If you are fascinated about the Maya, then you have a numerous topic, the papers on that. But if you're also interested in historic archaeology, we have papers that do research at St. George's Key. And in between those, you have different disciplines that are highlighted in depending on the focus and the question.
So how are the days being separated? Because I believe it's 2 days.
It's 3 days.
3 days, yes. And we do have a special topic section, which is looking at transformations and adaptations during critical periods. So that will be on Thursday. So all the papers on Thursday are limited to people who submitted abstracts based on that topic. On Wednesday and Friday, it's more the general papers that are just giving on their new research or their lab work or any update to their research. So I think it's important that people come out and learn about the sites that they don't know about or have never heard about. So if you go on our Facebook, there's the link to the schedule and you can see all the different papers on there and make a selection for yourself or come out to all 3 days.
I think you should come out to all 3 days.
And I know your name is on that list, April, so we'll see you there.
Yes. But can you talk to us? We talk about the general public, we talk about international public, but how do you think about the Belizean student population? Have you been seeing an increase of those? We haven't been able to see it for the past 2 years, but throughout the symposium.
Well, as an institution, we usually send invitation to the different schools. Then the schools take the decision, be it because they are on break as well during the summer. Sometimes they don't have control of having a particular class and saying we're going to take these group of students. But every time we have symposium, we send invitation to especially the tertiary institutions. And over the years, we have seen a number of students show up. In some cases for a particular class when their teacher demands them to attend, but we would hope that more Belizean students attend.
Right.
Yes.
I see he watched Pammy like, because I know you made them come. But
we've had a really good feedback from Belizean students.
Yes.
Actually, even in the planning of the symposium, we've had several volunteers come in recently, and so you know, we're really working on building that connection and relationship with more and more Belizean students.
So for the presentations that that are at the symposium, do we have access to those papers afterwards?
You will have, because every year, once the papers have been submitted to the Institute of Archaeology, we then compile them into our journal, the research reports for Belizean archaeology, and those will be available for purchase the following symposium.
Okay. Has there, even though there haven't been a symposium for the past 2 years, has the journal still been going?
Right. We have one gap year that we missed, but in 2020, when we didn't have a symposium, we still published the 2019 volume.
Okay.
So
and that will be available for this year. Okay. Tell us the longevity of the days and when does it begin? When does it end? Give us the deets.
So registration starts every morning at 7:30 at San Ignacio Hotel in San Ignacio. The paper starts at 8 and they run up to 4:35. You know, usually the last papers tend to exceed a little time, but that would be for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
How long
is there a break at lunch? Or
yes, we have a number of papers, and we'll have a little, what we call coffee break, water break.
Okay.
Then we break at lunch, and then we had another small break after lunch as well. Yes.
And how long do the presentations normally last?
The presentations are 20-minute papers followed by a short question and answer period. So that is one of the unique features of our symposium, is that the audience can get to interact with the presenters, and you do have that opportunity to ask your questions. If there's some burning point that you need more explanation on, you do have that opportunity.
I could definitely see those questions coming from university students who are focusing in a particular field.
And we love that, and we encourage people to do that.
I remember when I took a group of students, they had to do a paper on it. And, and they had access to the researcher, which makes it a little bit special, because then they're able to, during the coffee break, water break, they're able to continue asking questions, even if they didn't get their questions during the question and answer period. Is there anything else that you'd like to tell our viewers?
Well, we always highlight that, especially for young people, attending to this symposium is a great opportunity to start or to guide them in the path of choosing a career. Remember, it doesn't have to be just archaeology, but there are many different disciplines that you can decide to choose. But coming to the symposium, you meet all the different researchers, you meet the Institute of Archaeology staff who can guide you and place you on the following summer to a particular field school where you can have first-hand experience and to figure out if it's really a career that you want to do or not before you are going to use your parents' money or someone's money into education and then you don't finish.
Be sure that that's what you want to do.
I agree with you. Brighton had a question about anthropology. Do you want me to ask it?
Well, because I'm an anthropology major and we were speaking off camera, there has been a separation, I understand, between the anthropology and archaeology symposium. So speak to us about why that separation.
Sure. For a couple of years, we did combine the ISCR, who's another institute under niche. We combined the archaeology and the ISCR anthropology symposium. But we had such a good feedback on it that it was a little bit too extended the time, and so we decided to separate. So now I think they do partner with the University of Belize, and they do a separate anthropology symposium, separate from the archaeology one.
Because I know Brighton, some of those, because some of the archaeology papers are technical, right? So for the anthropology major that probably doesn't want to listen to LiDAR, wouldn't want to listen to
but there will be an opportunity for that, I'm sure. I think probably next year that symposium should be back again.
Okay. So the Belize Archaeology Symposium beginning June
29th, next week Wednesday, to July 1st.
July 1st. Registration begins at 7:30 and presentations begin at 8. I know symposiums start on the dot, but then it never ends on the dot. It always ends after 5.
Which is important that we start on.
Right.
Well, thank you so much. Again, any last words for our viewers?
Just come on out, please. We invite you, everyone, if you have the time, just come on out and listen and learn about some fascinating and interesting information about our country.
April, I haven't been to a symposium since 2017.
We're going.
Oh, you're due.
We're going.
We're going. Bryson and I will be there. I going. I don't register.
And obviously we invite the media, so hopefully someone from Channel 5 as Channel 5 capacity can give some coverage to the symposium.
Paul, they're telling you to come to the symposium. But thank you so much, Interim Director, and thank you so much, Josue, for coming in. But we have to take a short break, and we'll be back for a wrap-up, so stay tuned.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new Smart Stream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, Smart Stream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with Smart Stream.
Well, it's a dream come true. Becoming a homeowner, it's very exciting. I can't even put it in words. The emotion says it all.
Overwhelming, exciting, speechless most of all, that joy. The words you can't actually explain how you feel, but just overjoyed with everything. This is a big help, being one single parent.
I am receiving something that I was really wanted to have. I think this is very good enough for me, and I really appreciate it.
Our house was here already, and that get burned down by an accident with my grandchildren. But I thank God today and thank everybody for helping me. Feel good, miss me heart. You got a bubble and things jump in there.
Feel good, generous. Yeah.
Feel very happy. We appreciate everything with the minister, the government, and everybody who work along with him. Thanks very much. I'm very happy.
I don't really want to get emotional, but thanks for everything, because I really appreciate it.
I know the value of a nice deep bungalow cement house, like that cannot be overstated, right? I know that from personal experience matter, that we grew up in our broke up house. Then about at age 12 we were able to get to a concrete bungalow house. And that changed through life. Like start feel good about ourselves, we start get pride, we start work really hard at a school because we see the benefits of working hard.
By having shelter, by not being able to have to go
pay the rent every day where you don't own. By having something that you can go to the bank with to be able to better your life, psychologically that gives you power. It gives you strength to face life. This is a tangible way of people feeling that government is contributing to bettering their lives.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank contactless MasterCard debit card. Introducing our standard debit and MasterCard Platinum debit cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
And we are back, and just like that,
we are wrapping up Thursday morning.
Yeah. Of course, we'd like to thank all of our guests that came on the show this morning. Very, very insightful, useful discussions and informations. We'd like to thank our friends from the Statistical Institute of Belize for coming in, particularly the acting director, and the GG from the Children's Parliament for coming in and talking to us about what the youth think about poverty and to promote the multi-dimensional poverty index that is being a collaboration of SIB and UNICEF.
Certainly looking forward to see what comes out of those consultations and just to see how the statistics have changed over the past 2 years or past 3 years. So looking forward to see the outcomes from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we'd like to thank our friends from the St. Martin's Credit Union for jumping on Zoom to be here with us to talk about their online banking promotion. You know, one of the things that Brighton and I were talking about off camera was that there's so many credit unions that we don't we don't even know the names of all of them. So for him to say that there's over 130,000 members of a credit union in the country alludes to their success.
Right, right, absolutely.
And of course, our final conversation was from those at the Institute of Archaeology to talk about the Belize Archaeology Symposium. Brighton Gwen, he don't tell me, Gwen.
I haven't attended one in quite some time, so looking forward to it.
But I really enjoy going to that, not just because I love archaeology, but because there's so much information that is done in our country about us. And we tend to only dive into the ones that we can see, the sites that we can see, touch, and there's, I always tell people there are so many sites in country. There are over 5,000 archaeology sites in country.
You don't even know you're passing mounds.
They don't even know you're passing mounds. And you know, in Belize, we have a saying where you kick a rock and there's archaeology to find. There's some kind of cultural material to discover. And so going to the symposium, it kind of gives you that perspective as to how much is already being uncovered and researched in Belize. So if you have that chance to go out and see it, go and see it.
Certainly. Yeah. Definitely 3 interesting conversations this morning. But April, we must send a reminder to our viewers and possible participants. Come on out to try out for KTV. The remix, it's back. It's been a while, April, since KTV. The people have been asking for KTV. It's a Tuesday night entertainment. April, I could tell you We literally finish our workouts on Tuesday nights early enough to get home and catch KTV.
KTV is a Belizean pride and culture. Even if I don't come to see it, I am watching it on TV, and if I miss it, I make sure I see the reruns. It honestly, it is something that I think everybody looks forward to on that Tuesday night. And of course, we'd like to remind anyone out there with that talent to come in. Auditions are this Saturday and Sunday from 9 to 3 p.m. So we'll have people here at the studio. And I always love that part too, the auditions, because you get to see all of the talent that wasn't selected. You know, maybe you had a favorite that didn't make the cut. And I always have a sense of respect for anybody that puts themselves out there and showcases their talent on a stage in front of a live audience and then in front of everyone nationally through the cable TV.
And if nothing, I think people are ready to hear, I love it, I love it, I love it.
Yes. We hope we have Miss Jenny on our judge coach this time. We're looking forward to KTV. So if, again, auditions are this weekend from 9 to 3 at the Channel 5 studios. So drop in. We'll be so prepared to hear you all. And then KTV will begin the regular Tuesday, the remix.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you have any, we have to go.
Yeah.
We got to go. We would love to stay here and talk to you more, but we'll be back tomorrow. And so if you have any questions, concerns, greetings, send us a comment on oye@channel5belize.com.
You can also find us on our Facebook page at Open Your Eyes BZ or on Instagram at OYEBelize.
We want to thank you all so much for waking up and started your morning right with us here at Channel 5. Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
See you soon. Bye, Belize.
Take care.
Get ahead with St. Martin Credit Union Online Banking. Online banking makes it easier to manage your finances from home. Monitor your account, shares, deposits, and loans. Transfer money to friends, family, and other financial institutions. Pay your bills online with ease or apply for one of our competitive loan offers and so much more. Online banking is easy, safe, and convenient. Manage your money 24/7. Register and get started today.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.